On today's episode of the Views from Texas 400 podcast, it was a wild NFL Week 13. All of a sudden, Jack's Jaguars at the top of the AFC South, chance to really take it over next week. Matt's Eagles are free-falling. We had a lot go on in the playoff picture. The Bengals are possibly back. The Bills stomped the Steelers. The Steelers are probably dead. Seattle, all of a sudden, the second highest team in terms of odds to win the Super Bowl. And the Kansas City Chiefs might not make the playoffs. A bunch of stuff happened. Also, Lane Kiffin finally went to LSU. Talked about that. Packed show. See you guys soon.
And just like that, we're back.
A16, turn me up.
Welcome into episode 226 of the Views from Texas 400 podcast. Today's December 2nd, 2025, and Lane Kiffin is not a housewife. He is, in fact, a hoe.
Well, I think he just has hoe tendencies, right?
It's a wild way to start the show.
Depends how you look at it. Either way, Lane Kiffin to LSU, 7-year deal. We'll do the whole coaching carousel on Thursday's show as we normally talk college ball then. But Lane Kiffin, this news is so big. It took up the whole weekend. Marty Smith was basically stuck in exile outside the Ole Miss facility trying to break the Lane Kiffin news all weekend. I'm kind of worried LSU is going to be back.
Well, that's definitely a legitimate concern with given what Lane's been able to do to this point in his career. Brought back an Ole Miss team, head into their I think they're headed to the playoff. I would absolutely think so, which is...
Are they?
I think so.
They kept Florida State out because they lost their quarterback. Do they keep Ole Miss out because they lost their head coach?
No, I think that's ridiculous. I do. But, you know, let's go back to this hoe thing that you wanted to start this with. I've got beef. I've got beef with what's going on, as I'm sure a lot of college football fans do. I don't really think this is Lane's fault. I really don't. I think this is either on LSU or just, you know, the greed of it all. But why can't he wait until the end of the season to make this decision? Like, why does he need to come out now in the middle of Ole Miss's season and do this dance? LSU, needs an answer? You want me that bad, you can wait. It's just not the right way to go about this. And I don't really feel like it's Lane's fault. I mean, the dude just got a 7-year, $91 million deal. I'm gonna, sign the line and get that $91 million deal, but I would like to do it when the season's over, which is what he wanted to do, and he expressed that. And now he's not able to coach the Rebels as they go to the playoff.
Yeah, the schedule is really, it's fucked up. Rick Pitino, I think, tweeted the amount of stuff that's wrong with it. He basically said what if I was at Iona and I took the St. John's job, and I couldn't coach them. I couldn't coach Iona in March Madness. There's something wrong with the schedule, and it definitely should, especially for the kids that are being coached that have to then enter the transfer portal if they want to follow their coach. It's so bad, and people opting out of bowl games. So that's a whole nother thing. But in terms of the Lane Kiffin part, there's a really well-done article written by Brian Scott Rippey, I believe is how you say his last name. Great first name. It basically... He said, what is Lane Kiffin chasing? And this has been the story of his career. He's at a point, he was at Tennessee. It wasn't good enough, so he left. He was at Alabama as a coordinator, then he left, sure. He's at FAU, he built something, and then he leaves, Group of 5, fine. But you're at Ole Miss now. You're at an SEC school. You just damn near won the SEC. If Auburn would have done their job and beaten Alabama, you had a chance to. I know LSU is a good job, and he got a lot of money. But at some point, just put your roots down. His kids go to Ole Miss. Just at some point, build something. It's weird behavior.
I think that's what. To be fair, I think that's what we're gonna get here. I think LSU is that final destination where you sign a 7-year deal. It's LSU. It doesn't get bigger. There's not another program in the country. There's Alabama. There's Ohio State. But LSU was right there, DBU, wide receiver U, all of the incredible prospects that they've put out in the NFL in the past few years. Shout out BTJ. But like, there's nowhere else that he can really go to be any bigger. Like, sure, if DeBoer doesn't
NFL?
work out at Bama, like,
You're telling me he's going to end his career at LSU?
I really do. I think that he has a chance to cement himself as a legacy coach there. The way we think about Pat Dye and Bear Bryant, like, Bruce Pearl, some of the local Alabama folks, but Bobby Bowden at Florida State. You can go on and on. There's these incredible coaches all around the country, all around different sports. I think he has a chance to do that at LSU.
I think I share the same view that Brian has here of the why go bigger, why go better. How much bigger is it really? I mean, you won 11 games. LSU fired their coach mid-year. So what resources are they tapping into? I get it, the brand, LSU won a national championship more recently. Ole Miss, I don't even know the last time they've played in a national championship. Have they even? Who knows? You probably got to go back to the 70s to get that. But it's more of like, you're a top 5, 6, 7 team in the nation. You have 11 wins. Like, what more? You're in a dogfight down to pretty much the last possession with Georgia. Like, what? You're right there. You're right there. You have the roster built. It like go try and win it with Ole Miss. And I don't know what the draw at LSU is. Is there more resources there? Is it the brand? Who knows? But I think it's interesting, Brian. His daughter goes to Ole Miss, but the quarterback, his kid, who I think is highly recruited, has some top SEC schools in his final list, has undecided. And he this was still when Lane was coaching at Ole Miss. He said, I don't want to, do what my dad's doing. I'm not going to Ole Miss. And he had LSU in his top list of schools. It'd be interesting to see if maybe that had something to do with why Lane, not the whole thing, but if there's an angle there. You're Lane Kiffin, your kid's getting recruited by all these top SEC schools. LSU's on his list. The kid said he doesn't want to follow his dad, be under his dad, whatever. Is there an angle there? I don't know, but I think it's interesting, and not a lot of people are talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I don't know how much you'd want to be coached by your dad at the college level, but
You see it all the time, though.
You saw it with Brian Kelly's kid, even though Brian Kelly's kid was terrible.
Just saw it with Shadur and Dion.
Right.
Yeah. I guess I could see it. Also, I know that resources at LSU are maybe the best in the country, but if you just want to look at NFL talent too, like Lane Kiffin was building something at Ole Miss.
He was.
There for college and in the NFL. He's got DK Metcalf in the NFL, Quinshon Judkins in the NFL, Jackson Dart, who might save my New York Giants. Like, he was building something. But then I also understand LSU is going to give you unlimited NIL money. Pretty much every prospect from that state is to you. They all grew up LSU fans.
It is bigger, right? We can establish that. It is bigger,
yes.
The jump. But where we, I guess, have a tough time justifying is you're already at the top with Ole Miss. Like, you're right there. You're right there. And I think because he is right there, that's why this divorce is a little more messy than it needs to be, because of leaving him high and dry and bringing coaches with them to kind of drive the knife in the wound a little bit deeper. But, it makes sense. But at the same time, we have all these questions of, why? And, everybody has their reasons. And as messy as it is, Lane got paid. He gets more resources. Maybe he gets his kid to commit there, unless Messberger has another 6 years, which feels like he's been there forever. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to analyze this, but I think it's the specific circumstances that surround the team as a whole, including them being in a playoff spot right now, and them losing the coach absolutely will create more of an uproar. Absolutely. But I think just because of those circumstances, we're seeing this a lot more inflated in the media right now.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. There's a lot of reasons why, you could say this is why. It's for the bag. I mean, again, $91 million freaking dollars here. It's for the bag. It's for the unlimited resources. It's for the brand, LSU. It's not that much bigger, but it is bigger. And there's all these reasons. I didn't even know about the kid. That's kind of juicy. That's some tinfoil hat. I kind of like that one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is messy, and it didn't need to be. I really don't think it needed to be. I don't think LSU had to have the answer. Lane had to give the answer. I don't think Ole Miss went about this the right way, where they're like, "Oh no, now that you're leaving us high and dry, you're out. You're not coaching us anymore." Like, keep the run going. Why not? Like, I think everybody's handling this very poorly.
It all starts with the scheduling. It's because the transfer portal opens during bowl season, so Ole Miss doesn't want him coaching at Ole Miss, actively trying to get the kids to come with him to LSU. Being like, "Oh, when you enter the portal, just opt out of our bowl game and then come." Like, it's LSU doesn't want him to be somewhere else. It's a whole thing.
Isn't there some kind of signing day coming up too, as well? I mean, you would want Lane to be, if he's an unknown and LSU doesn't have a head coach through that whole period, you're going to lose a lot of talent. You're going to lose a lot of guys who are going to commit elsewhere, because those kids, those 5 stars, whoever, they have to make a decision.
Yeah,
they're under the gun to make the call. And if there's unknown with the coaching elsewhere, that puts you in a really tricky spot.
No doubt. You're absolutely right. It's just when they decided to do the whole transfer portal and signing day and extending, the college football playoffs. So now we're finishing it like late January and all that. When they did all of this, like, somebody should have thought about this timeline. I feel like those guys get paid way too much money to not have this flush. And it's just ridiculous. It's putting a poor product on the field and, in general for the league. And as college football fans, I'll speak for us. I'm mad.
Yeah. So early National Signing Day is December 3rd and it ends on December 5th. And then the final day is in February, where they have to make the ultimate decision. But I mean, you want those guys to commit early.
Yeah. I mean, guys come off the board early there is the main point I'm trying to make. And it's, you lose that talent, then, it's like, what would I rather go win at Ole Miss for one last hoorah, or, prepare my future, my 7-year future, unless he has some debacle and gets fired early on. Which
he could leave for the NFL in 4 years.
Which would be funny in itself. But here's the ultimate question that you ask yourself if you really want to get upset or not about it. And maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But with Lane Kiffin, do you truly deep down believe Ole Miss was going to win the national championship? And if the answer is no, I think you can kind of brush this one off. And I don't think they were going to win or had a chance to win the national championship. And people will say that's crazy. I don't think they could compete with some of the top teams in the country. And it's my opinion and why it doesn't bother me that much.
I think they could have won.
As good as they are this year, I like them more.
Deep down in your gut, where you're really like Ole Miss, like they got a shot to win this thing.
The way I'm viewing,
to me, that's not there.
The way I'm viewing the college football playoff this year is, as long as Ohio State is in it, they're gonna win it. But as soon as they get knocked off, I don't know who's gonna come out of this thing, and that's why I have so much faith in Texas Tech, because all it takes is Ohio State to lose, and then any team out of the top 8 or 9 can go win this thing.
They really are a lot deeper than I think people give them credit for.
I feel bad for the kids at Ole Miss. That's really I could give a shit about the fans. Fuck them. I don't care about any of that. But those kids, they just won 11 games, first time in school history, and now they just have to sit in purgatory and probably transfer to LSU.
Yeah, you got to think, where does Ole Miss turn? Or I think they hired within, right? Some kind of coach.
They did.
Hired the D coordinator so he could leave with Kiffin too. I mean, weird strategy play there. I get it, but Lane Kiffin's the recruiter. This guy might have watched it, but can he do it? I don't know. I mean, Ole Miss, 11 wins. When's the next time they get back to this point? Could be a long rebuild for the Rebels.
Yeah, Pete Golding is their head coach now.
Yeah, I mean, do you trust that guy to lead a recruiting surge after an 11-win year to stay competitive in the toughest conference in the country?
I mean, Lane Kiffin was winning games with his dad as the D coordinator at like 75 years old. So I don't think he really needs a proven D coordinator to go win games.
No, I'm talking about for Ole Miss.
I think they'll be fine. They'll go back to what they were before, where
Of like 7-win team.
they'll be what Auburn is right now. Maybe a little better than what Auburn is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we will. We absolutely will. I mean, Lane Kiffin was their best shot to a national title. You know, they're not helping their chances by him leaving.
Definitely not.
And they were getting better every year. It seemed like they were very close, which is why it's the timing of it all is just very strange to me. But that's what happens because Brian Kelly sucks at coaching football. All you Auburn people will talk about that hire on Thursday show, but as well as the Florida hire, Penn State. We don't know what they're doing, but all that coming up on Thursday. So make sure you watch that podcast. But right now, Jaguars have an 81% chance to make the playoffs after beating the Titans on Sunday.
Yes, we do. Oh, boy. What a day. What a day. Oh, man. Sunday, we got the Titans. I say you expect a win, and we got one. And what we wanted to see is no doubt. And that's what we got. We were definitely a stagnant offense in the second half. I don't think the score changed at all in the second half. But, from the get-go, jumped out, commanded the game, and that's really the end of it. The offense looked good. Jacoby Myers has been such an addition for our team. He has really opened up a lot of the passing game. Been a good guy in the middle of the field. We've been missing that, especially we've been missing that in general, and then especially with Brenton Strange hurt. That part of our game was missing. Great to have Brenton Strange back now. He looked great. Yeah, the offense was great. Trevor was throwing the ball well. No bad turnovers. So I'm very curious to what you guys have to say today about the Jaguars. The defense looked great, hitting hard, forcing turnovers, and again, it's the Tennessee Titans. I don't think it's arguable. They're the worst team in the NFL right now, but we showed up to their place. They are our biggest rivals, as a franchise to this point. So we show up to their place. They gave us a tough time, but we left no doubt. I mean, hard-hitting game, a lot of punches thrown. Our punter, Logan Cook, got in a scuffle, got his bell rung or whatever, but we won the game. We won the game, left no doubt, and super, super impressed by Liam Cohen and this team.
In a couple of years, you're going to have Cam Ward talking like Joel Embiid when asked about the Celtics rivalry. It's not a rivalry. They just keep kicking our ass. That's 6 out of 7 now for the Jaguars against the Titans. No Eric Armstead, no Trayvon Walker, and Josh Hines-Allen goes out, gets 2 sacks. They force some fumbles. And, yeah, it is the Titans, but they were dominant. And now the Jaguars have set themselves up in the position we've been talking about this whole season. Is they're right there at the top of the division with the Colts. And they have 2 games against them, Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones. It's going to be a fun end to the season here.
Yeah, it's incredible looking at the graphic, and I had the Jags game playing the Titans on the left side of the screen, and I had the Texans and the Colts on the right side of the screen. So I had an AFC South, big frame up there, and never like to see the Texans win, but when you're beating the Colts, I'll take it. And with that win and the Jags win over the Tennessee Titans, we jumped up to first place in the South, third place in the AFC as a whole. I was getting a little greedy watching the Commanders and Broncos game. I thought that the Commanders might pull it out in OT. We see the Broncos lose a game. Maybe the Jags can sneak up to first place, but no, I won't get ahead of myself. Very happy the Jags are the kings of the South for right now.
Commanders were a Marcus Mariota higher pass away from winning that game.
Yeah, man, what was up with that? They wouldn't stop with the ta.
It was crazy. Just Collinsworth being Collinsworth.
Yeah, that guy's always got to try and put a spin on something, dude. It's getting a little worn out. Collinsworth fatigue.
Well,
but
in the pre or not pregame, but like when they do the player intros, like Marcus Mariota, he said his name Marcus Mariota. Like he said it like that first, and then
they'll run with anything.
Yeah, and they just ran with it. Collinsworth and whoever it was.
Marietta's
Might
just
be a
going to
whole
try and stay
bit.
relevant.
Remember
Might
when the
be.
Mets were on ESPN forever ago and they had Mark Canha and he said his name was pronounced like Kenya, and the announcers for the rest of the game, they pronounced it like that. And he was getting interviewed after. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's just a bit. I just wanted to prank the announcers." So Mariota might have done the same thing.
He may have done that.
It worked. I mean, you hear the guy introduce his name, you hear it a certain way. You've been saying it a different way. You're just not going to say it how you said it. You're going to continue to say it how you want to say it. I mean, so it comes down to like a respect thing. Like you don't even know. You're like, oh, I'll be respectful. That's how he pronounces his name. But whatever. Yeah, interesting bit there. No, on the 8-4 Jaguars, it was a win they needed to get. I know we discard the Titans, and rightfully so. They are the worst team in the NFL, but the Jags have not made it look easy against bad teams. Cardinals, Raiders, Texans aren't a bad team, but a slippery game on the road that they ultimately lost against Davis Mills, who is not a very good quarterback. So the Jags have not made it look easy at all this year. So to command the game and beat the teams you're supposed to beat, that would be the most impressive that I saw, that it didn't come down to the wire. It wasn't close. It wasn't, the Jags controlled the game and got the win. 81% chance to make the playoffs. I think rightfully so. Not to take away from the Jags. The AFC not as strong as years past, but 81% is 81%. They're in a good spot to get a home playoff game, Jack, which we'll see if your boots on the ground for.
I think I would be boots on the ground for that. I think I tried to move heaven and earth to be there. So yeah, I remember the atmosphere of 2022 when we beat the Titans at home to send us to the playoffs. Boots on the ground for that. And I wasn't able to make the next week's Chargers game, unfortunately, but that would have been electric. And I will be going to that if the opportunity arises. Surely excited about this
decent right now. Looking decent right now.
Especially with the Colts. You talked about it. They just lost to the Texans. They did not look good.
Not going to get any easier for them either, I don't think.
Nope. They got to see us twice. They got to see the Texans again. I think they have a matchup with the Broncos, maybe.
No, they already played the Broncos this year, but they got some tricky.
Oh, they did.
They got some tricky games down the stretch, I thought.
Yeah, they have Jags, Seattle, 49ers, Jags, Texans.
Yeah, it's not easy at all.
Not easy. And Daniel Jones, broken foot, broken back, whatever he's dealing with, it's kind of hard to tell, but that's not look. I mean, they have one first down in the first quarter, and I know it's the Texans defense, but they did not look good at all against the Texans. And I mean, they're probably going to make the playoffs. You have to think they started out 7-1. There's only been 2 teams since the merger that haven't made the playoffs since starting 7-1, and those are the Redskins and the Bears, both just poverty franchises. You got to think they get in, but there's kind of a chance they don't.
I'm not going to lie, based off of what I've seen over the past 4 weeks now, 4 weeks, yeah, I'm going to take the Texans over the Colts getting in.
They very well could have lost 4 straight. They beat the Falcons in overtime because Jonathan Taylor went absolutely crazy.
Who knows? We might see 3 AFC South teams in there.
We highlighted this, I think, weeks ago when we were looking at the Colts down the stretch schedule. And, not that we were these, insane ball knowers predicting the future, but, it wasn't incredibly difficult to look at that and say, oh, the Colts are going to really struggle down the field stretch, especially after being labeled fake good.
Yeah, the issue was you'd think they would get these home games. You'd think they would beat the Texans at home. And they'd be able to win enough at home where it's like, all right, they're going to get in. But they're losing everywhere.
Yeah, no, Brian, I think you were the one who was justifying the early season schedule to call the Colts this elite team.
I was justifying it for
Do you still feel that way? Do you still feel that way?
We were talking about Jonathan Taylor MVP, and I said I think he can run well against anybody. And obviously now he's not going to win the MVP. It's going to be Stafford. What he's doing is just insane. Unless he's going up against Derek Brown. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Talk about that game soon. But I don't know. I don't know how much I believe in the Colts to kind of right the ship here. They got to win. They have 8 wins, so they have to win 2
Who do you
more.
believe in more, Brian? The Colts or the Jaguars?
The Jaguars. I bet on them to win it in the preseason.
Let's go,
Yeah.
Brian. That's what
I
I'm
didn't
talking
know.
about, baby.
Because you were all in on Jonathan Taylor, which makes you all in on the Colts.
And now he's all in on Trevor
And
Lawrence.
now he's all in on Lawrence and the Jags. Pretty shocked by that answer. I know you played up the Colts for a little bit, or you played up the Jags, I guess. I don't know. But the Jags are right there, but I just nothing, and maybe it's just because we were on the show and we talk about it freaking for 10 minutes a week. But I like the Trevor Lawrence mental hurdle block. I'm gonna need to see it in the playoffs. Last time I saw it was Blake Bortles. It wasn't Trevor. So I think I'm gonna need to see it in the playoffs for that barrier to be broken, at least in my own head. And maybe he's already won the love and joy of Jaguar fans down in Duval County, and that's great and dandy. But I don't know what's going to flip it, and I think a deep playoff run will help break that barrier, at least in my head.
Yeah, and you want to know one of the really good things and really bad things about Trevor Lawrence and his experience is it's not any given Sunday he'll show up and be a stud or terrible like he's a rookie. It's any given play. Any given play, he can look like prime Rodgers, prime Brady, prime Breeze, or he can look like, Jameis Winston, rookie, Dylan Gabriel, stuff like that. So any given play, he can go out there and go make it. And that's what legitimately leads me to believe that any given Sunday we can beat any single team in the NFL right now outside of the Rams because they just completely outclassed us. But I wouldn't want to see us in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. And I know other teams are going to be licking their chops seeing the Jaguars there. It's not going to be easy for them.
Is this year 3 for Trevor? Year 4?
For Trevor Lawrence, this is year 5.
Year 5.
Yeah, man. He's
year 5.
approaching.
I was about to
status.
make a comparison, but I don't think I can make it anymore. I was going to say he had Eli Manning tendencies, but Eli had only took him really 3 before he broke through. Because Eli had that same thing where he could show up and be the worst quarterback in the league, or he could also dot you up for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. And he showed up in the playoffs, which we haven't really seen Trevor much of. I mean, he beat Brandon Staley, but it has been a little long.
Yeah, he beat Justin Herbert, lost to Patrick Mahomes. It's been his only run so far.
That's also like half the AFC.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to believe in the Jags. I like what the Jags are doing, Jack. I mean, right now they're playing the best football on this podcast.
They are. I'll put it this way before we have to talk about the Eagles. But I love Liam Cohen. Love the direction they've taken him in. Absolute, yes, that guy can be a killer as a head coach. The quarterback's going to be the wall. And until that's either addressed or Lawrence gets past his own, maybe this play, maybe a different play, tendencies that you're talking about. It just, any given Sunday, sure. They could go upset a Broncos team, but can they string it together? And I think, we kind of, are answering that by it doesn't sound like Trevor himself, let alone the rest of the Jaguars, can string it together multiple weeks in a row. And we've seen it this year.
Yeah. And look, and the last thing I want to say on the Jags, and it's related to this was one of Trevor Lawrence's best games. He didn't throw for 350 yards, but clean football, made a lot of really good decisions, a lot of really good throws. The drops never stopped. Actually, funny, he had a wide open Austin Trammell for a 30-yard catch, dropped it, and it was just we were doing so fine that you look up and you're like, gosh, I cannot believe he dropped that, but it's not the end of the world. So different than where we were in the start of the season. All that to say, and then we ended up waiving or cutting Austin Trammell today. but that's besides the point. All that to say, Trevor looked like he's getting better. It looked like he was processing everything. And again, I know this was against the Tennessee Titans, but it looked better. It looked like improvement. And I'm excited to see if that continues.
Well, I mean, we've had our gripes about Trevor Lawrence. Jalen Hurts right now is kind of looking like what we've said Trevor Lawrence has looked like.
Yeah, this is the drawback that people kind of jump to when he isn't playing well. And, you know, I could bring up the excuses and this and that and whatever, but it's a talented roster. It's a talented football team. You have the championship DNA, which is, I think, the most, if not, you know, a top three kind of identity you need is the championship identity, especially when you're trying to go, you know, win a Super Bowl year in and year out on this dynasty run that they have built. I mean, 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. Unfortunately, they lost one, but, you know, 10 plus wins is seeming like, you know, just supposed to be automatic. Like that's the culture that's been built. So even though the team's 8-4 and the city's booing them like they're 0-8, you know, there's things to look forward to. Easy schedule down the stretch. I mean, you say that now, but, you know, God forbid they go blow a game to the Raiders. If they split with the Commanders, I think that's fine, although they should win that 2-0. So, look, at some point, Nick Sirianni needs to step in. And at some point, if that doesn't happen, the owner, Jeffrey Lurie, needs to step in. And there needs to be a decision maker change. And what I mean by that, lay it all out. Who's calling the plays right now? Is it Kevin Patullo? What insight does, you know, is he getting? Is he not getting? It seems like he's the guy doing it. Is Sirianni saying things in press conferences to try and cover for him? Patullo's been on Sirianni's staff since he was hired as the Eagles head coach. So there is a brother familiar. I can't even say that word, but they're familiar with. Yeah, you can't either. It's a tough one.
Familiarity. Oh God.
It's
Familiarity.
Familiarity.
Yeah. They're familiar with each other. But what I'm trying to dude, that's why I didn't even try. But you guys know what I mean. They're brothers at heart. So you got to step in and say, look, man, we have this talented team. Saquon Barkley earned a $20 million a year contract. Jalen Hurts was and is the Super Bowl MVP. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, we know what they're capable of. So when you have all that going forward, you continue to look back. And, you know, this is the first time all year that I've been, you know, there has been no repeat NFC East champion since 2003. The Dallas Cowboys are surging and the Eagles are obviously falling. That's something, first time all year, maybe a little uneasy about the division. So yeah, it's time to kind of nut up or shut up. It's that time of year for football. It's cold, nasty weather. You got to dig deep in the trenches. And for the last 4 weeks or so, the trenches have been not great, especially on offense.
Yeah, I don't have to remind you about 2023 starting 10-1.
It's exactly what it feels like right now. I mean, it's exactly what it feels like. You have the offensive coordinator issue. You can't score. The team's a mess. And you throw in the towel on a season that had so much hope and promise. And that's exactly what, you know, if that's what they're trending towards. And maybe it's easier to say that because it did already happen so recently, but this
was the early exit to the Bucs.
Yeah, early where they gave up on that season like weeks before that game. Them losing to the Bucs was not like, oh shit, like that season was over. You could tell weeks prior.
Look, I know we're talking a lot about Kevin Patullo, and that I feel like that's been the main headline for all Eagles fans, and you know, makes sense with what you're saying with Sirianni, city of brotherly love, and all that good stuff. But how about like the defense? They couldn't stop anything. The Bears were able to run for 250 yards on them, just over and over and over again between Swift and Monangai. They just powered through, a very good Eagles defensive line. I mean, all those big Jordan Davis and everybody like that just ran them over and were able to run all day. And look at the time of possession. I wish I had the stat pulled up, but it was very, very skewed. And
it was very skewed. Just real quick, Brian, if I can respond, let's not forget who they played. The Bears are 9-3. Ben Johnson surely is the coach of the year, if not the front runner. That's a very good football team that they just lost to on Friday. So I think as loud as the Eagles' problems are, a tricky schedule. They've gone Green Bay, Lions, who again is looking worse and worse by the week, but they go and then play the Cowboys on the road, and then follow it up with the Bears, who are now. I mean, it's a gauntlet of a schedule. I think I predicted a 4 or 5 loss season before the season even started. So it sucks just because of the fashion it's happening. You're right; it didn't look pretty. 200 yards rushing is not good on a defense that's supposed to be top 10 or better in the National Football League. So, who they played has a big thing to do about it. It's been a gauntlet stretch. I think if you're looking before the season, you're saying, hey, you're 8-4 going into December. I think a lot of people are taking it, but just the way and how ugly it's looked, and there not being any fix to the offense that was so powerful and elite last year is why you're seeing this mass panic. And then 2023 being so close in the past, it gets people panicked, as they should be. But at the same time, it's not time to give up on the season, which they did do in 2023.
Yeah, a couple things. So first off, with the Bears, I think it's time to admit they are a good football team. Yeah. I still don't think they're a contending Super Bowl football team, mainly because this is the type of game you expect a team with the Eagles that are coming off. I can, because 2 of their 3 losses, they lost by 2 possessions to the Ravens when the Ravens were at home, and they got throttled by the Lions when the Lions are at home. So you would think the Eagles, with a team with Super Bowl aspirations, would do the same thing to them at home, but it didn't happen. I think it tells you more about the Eagles' issues right now than it does the Bears, but I am willing to admit the Bears are a good football team. That time of possession, by the way, 39 minutes to 21 minutes.
It got a little closer at the end. It was way more skewed as that game was going. I think the Eagles had a couple drives at the end that made it look a little better than what it was.
I will give the Bears credit. I think this game that does tell us more about the Eagles, though, than it does the Bears. The Bears are going to win games. The Bears are going to be in the playoffs. They might beat a team in the playoffs. But
you're telling me the Chicago Bears at plus 3,500 isn't an attractive line to win Super Bowl 60?
I wouldn't call it attractive. I'm not going to sit here and say I have real expectations.
When you look at value, you're trying to find value in the market.
No, sure, there's value, but you have to have some realistic expectations.
Do you like Chicago Bears at plus 3,500 or the Jacksonville Jaguars at plus 2,800? I like the value with the Bears.
The Jags have better odds to win the Super Bowl than the Bears?
It's insane. Probably
the AFC is not.
Yeah, the AFC, they're probably selling the AFC. Like, the playoff picture is not as tricky. Jags also, they win that division. They get the home playoff game. The Bears, they'll probably get their home playoff game, but it's I think plus 3,500. If you're looking for value on a long shot, I think it's the best value bet in the National Football League right now.
And that might be the case. I don't really think that either team. I think the Bears and the Jags are in a very similar situation where, yeah, they have the chops to go win against any football team on any given Sunday, but for them to be able to string it together, and I know I'm talking about like a 9-4 or 9-3.
Bears are 9-3.
9-3.
They're the 1 seed right now.
Best record of the NFC.
Yeah.
Plus 3,500.
Wow, that's just incredible. So, I mean,
It's
Do they have a
wild.
chance to do it? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've proven to this point they can go out there and win some football games
They're not
in
winning
Philly,
the
as
Super
we
Bowl.
were saying. But I don't expect them to do it. I definitely don't.
Of course not. That's why they're priced at where they're priced. But again, I think people just hear Bears to win the Super Bowl, and Brian's like mind immediately is like, no, like. But when you take a step back and you look at value, that's what we're talking about here. Value.
There's some value there.
It's the
There's some
most
value.
attractive line. I don't know how it's not.
There's definitely some value.
I mean, sure, there's value. I just don't think it's going to happen. Like, I can't picture a world.
You are like the Caleb.
I can't picture a world
Ben
will even make it
Johnson.
to the Super Bowl.
I don't think they will either.
I think it's a lot more likely than people are giving them credit for. And hey, look, I'm early. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm wrong.
Yeah, sure. I'll give it to you, but I don't see it at all.
It's tough to see through the murky waters, Brian, of the NFL playoff picture.
If the Bears win more than 2 playoff games, I'll let you throw. What number is DJ Moore? 6? 4?
I don't know what number he is.
I think he's 4. I'll let you throw the DJ Moore number of tomatoes at me.
I think it's 4.
He's 2.
2?
Yeah.
Does a first round bye count as a win?
I was gonna say I know like I know all the other receivers. I don't know him.
So if they get a bye, they'd have to make it to the Super Bowl. If they're a divisional round team, they have to get to the NFC Championship.
Yeah, look, are the Bears going to win? I don't know, but that line to me is attractive, a lot more attractive than the Jaguars at plus 2,800. And it's not to show shade at you, Jack. It's just that's who the next team is. So yeah. Anyway, to keep a long story short, let's not scoff at the Bears here as the Eagles are wrapping up a gauntlet of a schedule. And look, to repeat, you're going to need to beat those teams. So we'll see.
Yeah, if there's one team to get right against, especially in the trenches, it's the Las Vegas Raiders. So at least they have that coming up for them.
Well, they have that. We got to go on the road and play the Chargers on Monday night next week. So
yeah,
that's not the most fun game, but the Eagles play well in LA.
Herbert also has a broken finger, broken something.
Yeah, he's got something going on.
He's
Who is the Chargers' backup quarterback?
Trey Lance. We spoke it into existence. We were talking about Trey Lance for 30 minutes on the last show. And then he gets in there.
And he gets right in there. Is he going to start? Is he going to start next week?
Herbert came back. But it's his non-throwing hand, so he'll probably play. But he likes to run. He likes to extend plays. He might not be able to do that with a broken bone.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that the Chargers are still pretty squarely in the playoff picture. They're the number one wild card team at 8-4 right now, but they're just getting more and more broken by the day. You don't have Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt for the rest of the season. Justin Herbert seems to pick up a new injury every other week. They should hopefully get Omari and Hampton back. I know he's coming off the IR soon.
He almost came back this week, so
he almost came. They need some help though. They're a hurt team, and I feel like they're going to be hobbling into the playoffs. I don't know how much their run is really going to be worth.
Feels like the Texans might unseat them there. There's still the Chiefs hanging around, who we'll get to, but there's
and
one
the Colts,
probably the Chargers. Colts are in
Bills.
Right now, though. Colts and Bills are in.
Yeah.
But you're saying just in terms of passing them in the standings. I see what you mean.
Right.
Well, we could talk some AFC playoff picture here. It's looking murky because Patrick Mahomes has now lost 6 games for the second time ever as an NFL quarterback. He's never lost more than 6 games. Last time he lost 6, he won the Super Bowl.
That's insane.
Yeah, the Chiefs feel like they're dead.
I feel like most quarterbacks only have 6 lost seasons in their career. There aren't too many quarterbacks that get through a regular season with less than 6 losses. I mean, that's like 11-6. Like that's a damn fine record.
Yeah, and it was previously 10-6 for a long time,
which is definitely good in a 16 game schedule.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Unless you're a quarterback for the Browns, Jets, Giants recently.
Sure, there's going to be exceptions, but
a
I'm
solid
just
starting
saying
quarterback.
that's a pretty incredible stat that Mahomes, this is only the second time in his career he's had 6 losses in a season.
Shows you how dominant he's been and how dominant these Chiefs have been. And like we keep waiting on them to turn it on, but like Matt just said, they're probably dead.
Well, I was going to say, can you give me my flowers for the Broncos?
Oh yeah, I gave him to you like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, and by the way, I did also have the Bears as a bold prediction in that episode as well. But it all good. Chiefs Kingdom.
This is why we need an intern who can look back at our bold predictions.
Oh, dude, I've been like just red hot. I had the Broncos out of the AFC West, the Bears out of the NFC North, the Panthers as a sleeper team. I mean, it like just everything, just the check marks, or the Panthers still not a sleeper team yet.
I was gonna say it, and we could jump over there soon. But I think I trust the Panthers more as a long shot Super Bowl than I do the Bears.
Okay, that's crazy.
What?
The amount of good teams the Panthers have beaten,
They
can go to the playoffs and beat good teams. The Bears haven't beaten that many good teams, and when they beat them, it's like they barely beat them. The Panthers are killing them. They just went toe to toe with the Rams, and then stopped
and
them
won
when they
at
had the
the
chance
end
to win the game.
And
Yeah.
won at the end. No, they did. The defense is legit, man. I mean, I know they give up points, but they have Derek Brown, J.C. Horn. Like, they got dogs on that side of the ball, and you just need a couple dogs to get an elite defense. And they're playing like it, man. And that Tetaroa guy or whatever the wide receiver is that they drafted has been more than a pleasant surprise. I know we drafted early, had expectations, but were you guys expecting him to be this good?
There were a lot of people talking about him being lazy in routes and not being good in the NFL. I mean, he's tall enough. He has the frame to where you think he's going to be good, but I did not expect him to be a true number one weapon, scoring go-ahead touchdowns against the Rams.
And that's exactly what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought, look, as far as the prospect goes, I didn't really have a lean either way, but just given the situation, going to Carolina, your quarterback is Bryce Young, who, they just drafted Xavier Legette the year before in the first round to try and be something. That didn't work out. Like, I just thought that this was going to be another failed operation. He has definitely elevated that offense. He's elevated Bryce Young's play. He's been, a very pleasant surprise for them. I did not see that coming. That's for sure.
Yeah. And they're right there. I mean, I know the Bucks won. We don't need to talk about the Bucks Cardinals, but
I do want to say something quick though, because when we were talking about the Jags wins, you mentioned the Cardinals as a bad team. I think we can officially put them in like frisky, sneaky team because they've pulled off some close games lately.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. Jacoby Brissett, like, he's not letting them go down without a fight. Like, he's
like that's not a easy win now on the schedule if you're playing the Cardinals.
Do you remember last year when the Panthers were doing the same exact thing?
Yeah,
and they barely lost to the Chiefs. They barely lost to the Eagles. They might have even had a big win in there for no reason down the stretch, but that they were doing the same exact thing that the Cardinals are doing, where they're keeping it close, keeping it really close, and just that Eagles game they had won. Xavier Legette dropped a wide open pass, and they win that game last year. So I don't know, Brian. I mean, yeah, they beat the Rams. Like,
they beat the Packers this year. They beat the Cowboys.
Embarrassed the Cowboys.
I mean, they've got some good wins.
Yeah,
really
They're
good.
Probably
wins.
Not going to win the division though, because the Bucks finished with Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Dolphins, Panthers. They play twice, but the Bucks have the Saints, the Falcons, and the Dolphins, where the Panthers have a bye, and then Seattle and the Saints. It's going to be tough to hold off the Bucks.
They again, who knows what happens, but I think that home loss to the Saints that the Panthers had is what ultimately will lose them this division. But they were right there, man. And look, you never know what happens down the stretch, but nobody had this on their bingo card of the Panthers beat the Rams, who everybody's writing off. I think they have the best odds to win the Super Bowl. Matt Stafford MVP. And they go and they're like, well, hold on. We still got to play the football game before you chalk that up. And that's exactly what they did. And shit, they got to win. So props off to the Panthers, continuing to prove the sleeper pick into existence.
Yeah, that's a big one for their organization. Again, regardless of if they make the playoffs or not this year, win the division or not this year, it's huge for next year. I mean, this is a game that you're going to be able to look back to as Bryce Young, Tet, Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, the guys we've been talking about, the pillars of this team. They're going to be able to look back to this win and say, look, we beat the Rams when they were flying high in the top of the league, number one contender. We took them down. We got something here. Let's go.
Yeah, so Matt, you mentioned the Super Bowl odds. So I looked it up to double check. The Rams are the favorites. I made a face
have
there.
Crazy long odds. What did you make a face about?
Do you know who the second favorite to win the Super Bowl is?
It's like the Bills.
Is it the Broncos?
No.
Pats?
No.
It's not the Eagles.
Nope.
Packers?
Chiefs?
Nope.
The Ravens?
Nope.
Lions?
Nope.
Seahawks?
Yep.
What?
Seattle plus 850 in front of the Packers and the Eagles.
Look, I respect it. I said the Jags are a team that no one's going to want to see in the playoffs because, you never know what kind of team you're getting out of them. Seahawks, you know what you're getting. You're getting a tough matchup with a stellar defense. And if you don't get pressure on Sam Darnold, you're going to lose the football game.
The issue is if the Seahawks have to play the Rams, that's Sam Darnold. If Sam Darnold can avoid playing the Rams, I could see it. But he's not going to beat the Rams.
We've seen just wild. You think like Sam Darnold's football team is second favorite in December to win the Super Bowl is definitely not another thing I didn't have on my bingo card. But here we are.
For the psyche of Jets fans, specifically Jake Haraka, who we grew up with, I can't. I really hope Sam Darnold doesn't win a Super Bowl.
I genuinely can't see him doing it, and that's as a someone who've watched Sam Darnold for a long time, specifically with the Jets, even at USC. It's like I just cannot see this man winning a Super Bowl. I think I could see Bryce Young winning a Super Bowl before I could see Sam Darnold winning a Super Bowl.
Maybe, yeah.
Ooh, I think that's pretty even. I think that's
Bryce Young he stepped it up, Brian. I mean, you had this guy chalked up as never play another snap for the Carolina Panthers again.
Yeah, I think I did give you guys that line.
You 1,000% did.
Yep.
You said
David Austin has proven himself as quarterback whisperer.
The new QB whisperer of the NFL. Kevin
He might win
McConnell
Coach
has
of the Year.
retired. Yeah, it all depends how they finish up. I think if Ben Johnson gets to 12 wins, I don't know how you don't.
Yeah, if they get a 1 seed, even the 2,
yeah,
I think they.
Yeah. I think if the higher playoff seeding, more win, whatever, and they're in the driver's seat to win that division. Where the Panthers still, it's a little trickier for them to get an NFC South.
Yeah, who do the Packers? So the Packers host the Bears this week, and then they play the Bears again in December. So that division is still very much up for grabs. The Packers do have to go to Denver, though. They host the Ravens, and they finish with the Vikings. So that's a tough.
That's not a fun mid-December. Got to go to Denver to play that game. That's not fun at all.
It's going to be a must-win for the Ravens, possibly too. In that scenario, but the Bears have Packers twice. They host the Browns. They should win that, but then they finish at 49ers, who are probably going to have to win that game, and then they host the Lions, who might have to win that game.
We got a lot of competitive football coming up.
Yeah,
just the way you want it.
Competitive football in the AFC North too. Joe Burrow, right when you thought the Bengals were dead, beats the Ravens. And you look at the Bengals schedule. Hear me out here, Jack. The Steelers look dead.
They have 4 wins.
They have 4 wins, but they still play the Ravens again. They play the Cardinals. They play the Dolphins, and they play the Browns. if they can beat the Bills on the road this upcoming week, they get a chance to beat the Ravens at home, and they finish with the Dolphins, the Cardinals, and the Browns.
It's insane how that entire division has, like, how the mighty have fallen. Like, you know, think about the way we were talking about the Ravens and the Steelers and the Bengals coming into this season, or last year, or the year before that. Like, they have been one of the best divisions in football for a very long time, even with the Browns hanging around as like a, you know, stain on the bottom of their shoe. And now 7 wins is going to get you the division. 8 wins is going to get you the division. Is that what you're telling me, Brian?
8's probably the magic number, especially with Lamar Jackson playing on one leg.
Yeah, he
The
looks really
Steelers
bad.
look dead. Aaron Rodgers is half dead.
Aaron
Mason Rudolph
Rodgers
came into
is-
that game against the Bills and threw an interception on his first pass.
I think the Ravens win this by default, even with everything that's going on. They just have they
looked
have the
terrible.
games, but they have the games over the Bengals, that's for sure. And the Steelers are more dead than the Ravens. So yeah, I think the Ravens win this by default.
So
You're
the
taking
Ravens
the Bengals. You're going to tell me you're taking the Bengals?
listen to how the Ravens finish with. They have the Steelers this week. It's a big game. Then they go to Cincinnati, where the Bengals can pick up another game on them. They host the Patriots, who are going to be in a fight for the 1 seed. They go to Green Bay trying to win the NFC North, and they finish at the Steelers. Division game, Pittsburgh. They never want to see the Ravens win. It's not going to be easy, especially if Lamar Jackson's still hurt.
I still think they go 3-2 over that stretch.
2 and 3 might get them in if one of the two is against the Bengals, but it's just like it's so much chaos. It's just mid chaos.
It is mid chaos.
And I'll take Joe Burrow. He's probably the best quarterback in that division. He definitely is with Lamar Jackson on one leg.
Matt, who do you got?
I'm not going to let Brian's Bengal bias get in the way of what I've seen the Bengals do this year, and it hasn't been much. I think ultimately their defense will let them down. They're propped up on broken ice, and it's just every week they take a step deeper to the thinner ice, and eventually they're gonna fall through.
I could definitely see Cincinnati.
It's going to be the
3 in a
same thing
row.
as last year, Brian. They did it, and it was like a song and dance at the end of the year, and a Thursday night or whatever game, Saturday night game against the Broncos, and they did a whole run around this and that.
But the Steelers and the Ravens were better last year. They're both free
Were
falling.
they, though? What did the Steelers have last year?
Lamar Jackson was the MVP last year, or he should have been at least.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Fields was playing decent football. Russell Wilson was playing decent football. I don't know who was starting for them at the end of the season.
I think it was Russ at the end.
Yeah, what a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it feels like the Ravens, but the schedule is tricky. Look, I could see it. There's a reason the Bengals brought Joe Burrow back, because they can also see it. I mean, you had Joe Flacco sitting right there. If they didn't think they had a shot, they would have shut him down for the year, and it would have been, but they think they got a shot. And hell, when you got a coach fighting for his life, which actually, who knows if we even is on the hot seat or not. They let that guy get away with murder, but he should be. And when you're desperate times call for desperate measures. And the Bengals are you could even make a case for Joe Burrow being on a hot seat of some sort.
Yeah, I think I threw the injury prone label on him when he got hurt the first time this season officially. He's going to have a couple healthy years to get rid of that.
Yeah. He's still a great quarterback, great talent, been to a Super Bowl, which gets swept under the rug easily.
He was Aaron Donald away from winning that Super Bowl. Aaron Donald just took over.
Yeah, he was. What are you going to do?
Are we buying the Bills, or are the Steelers just that bad?
No, I'm not buying the Bills. Again, he's another look. I got 3 coaches. It's Stefanski, it's the dude we just talked about, Zach Taylor, and it's Sean McDermott.
Might as well be Doug McDermott.
Sean McDermott
Shout
up
out
in
Doug
Buffalo.
McDermott.
Those are three guys who have had the longest leashes. Granted, Sean McDermott's the only one who hasn't had losing records, but just terrible playoff success. No playoff success. It's those three guys, and I know we're talking about the Bills. I don't believe in the coaching staff. I don't believe, like, you have Josh Allen, who is right up there with the best quarterbacks in football, and the defense is the defense. I don't trust the coach. McDermott, to me, isn't a winner, and I get it. He's won in the regular season. He's the Lamar Jackson of coaching.
The Bills remind me a lot of the Commanders in the sense that they like have this great young quarterback, and obviously Josh Allen's done a lot more than Jaden Daniels, and the Bills have James Cook, but like, what was the plan with this wide receiver room? At least the Commanders thought they had a healthy Terry McLaurin going into the year, but the Bills, like, Brandon Cooks caught the first pass thrown by Josh Allen in this game. The guy they just signed because he decided he didn't want to end his career with the Saints. Like, this is the year that Mahomes might not be there. The big bad Mahomes for Josh Allen to finally get over the hump. And he's throwing to Keon Coleman, who misses team meetings every other week, 40-year-old Brandon Cooks, and Ty Johnson out of the backfield.
Khalil Shakir disrespect is unreal.
Well, the Khalil Shakir disrespect by his own team has been unreal. Like, I can't tell you, maybe over the past like 4 games now, I should really come with these stats. I'm sorry. But I think over the past 4 games, he's had 2 or 3 of them with 1 catch.
Yeah, it's
like one catch on 1 target. It's like, what's going on here?
But, you take the Eagles approach with A.J. Brown. Like, whose fault is it? Is it the quarterback? Is it the coaching? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to find this Shakir.
I got you. So out of the last 3 games, this is a guy who, especially with Keon Coleman, coach's decision to being benched because he's missing meetings and stuff, you'd think this is a guy that they're getting heavily involved in their offense. Over the past 3 weeks, 2 of them, he had 1 catch.
Yeah, 3 targets and 4 targets.
It's inexcusable. And you see what happens when they feed him. He has good games. He's capable.
It's just hard to get open, too, when there's no one there.
Yeah, they just have a weird offense, and to be fair, I think they sort of designed it that way to work around Josh Allen and his talents. They are a run-first offense. You have a great back in James Cook. Josh Allen can get it done himself with his legs, power style. I guess the wide receivers were just an afterthought. You have 2 pretty good tight ends. You use decent draft capital on Dalton Kincaid, and then the wide receivers are just a mesh of hoopla, and Keon Coleman not working out is definitely hurting them. But, at what point do you say, okay, we need somebody to make it work?
Well, they tried, and again, you'll say, well, Mahomes was on his run, but they tried with the Stephon Diggs signing. Like, he was their weapon. They just couldn't get over the hurdle in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that worked for them. They
decided
to move away from it. I guess
Diggs decided to move away from it. He did not want to be there. Can't really do anything about it. James Cook, by the way, also quietly 60 yards behind Jonathan Taylor for the rushing crown.
I didn't think it was that close, but he's definitely been having a phenomenal season. I guess that really shows how much JT slowed down recently.
JT slowed down, and the Bills just can't throw the ball, so run the ball 50 times a game.
Yeah.
I got to see the carry stats because James Cook had like 30. Josh Allen scored 2 rushing touchdowns. Ray Davis was getting carries in this game. Like, they just ran the ball, and they ran it down the Steelers' throats in Pittsburgh, which is why I just think the Steelers are dead. I'm not going to count out the Bills just because Patrick Mahomes might not be there.
The Steelers are dead. The Steelers are so dead. Like, their defense, which is supposed to be, the star-studded unit, T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, Jalen Ramsey, all these vets, can't get it done.
Can't get it done.
Yeah, last couple of pieces of housekeeping here to wrap up Week 13, wild Week 13. So it's a very mid-slate, at least on Sunday, but a lot of good games. The 49ers beat the Browns. are going to be a playoff team, right?
Yes. Yeah, they handled the Browns.
Also,
Yeah.
Jawan Jennings got called a hoe. A lot of people calling people hoes.
A lot of fights this weekend.
So maybe I forget the DB's name that punched him in the balls a couple weeks ago, but maybe he was in the right because Jawan Jennings apparently is getting under people's skin.
He's not even that good.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about the Bills and Josh Allen. You see him like kicking Jason or Casey Hayward like in the knee or in the balls or some
They were
shit.
getting chippy.
Said he did it on purpose. You know, did I get it sent out again? Who knows? But seemed like Hayward was pretty pissed.
Yeah, that game was very chippy. Josh Allen did a couple slides that were late slides, and then the DB just crashes into him, and the whole Bills sideline was going insane. James Cook got like his face mask planted in the ground. It was a very chippy game, and Tony Romo was doing his classic sound effects, which he is falling off a cliff. I bet CBS regrets that contract.
Yeah, I have not enjoyed Romo lately.
No, it was fun in the beginning because I guess it was something new, but I don't even, Jim Nantz is too good of an announcer to waste with Romo next to him.
Yeah, it's getting sad too because they took away his ability to predict the plays, and then he tried to do it in this last game. It's like, oh, play action coming, and it was just a run right up the gut with James Cook. It's like, oh,
yeah, he was looking like a wizard, and now the NFL teams are outsmarting him. It's like, Tony, you've been removed from the game, man. They've switched some things up since you last played as a quarterback, and I think that's what we're seeing.
yeah, I don't know who they're gonna pair Jim Nantz with up next, but I think he's getting sick of Romo too.
It's gonna just keep being Tony Romo.
Well, yeah, until his contract is up.
Nantz said, he said he's doing his last Masters in 2035, which would be, I think he said, was it the 100th Masters? I don't know. But I think he said 2035 is the last Masters he's doing. Is that some foreshadowing for retiring as a whole? Is he just going to take a step back from a lot of sports and focus on one final couple of years at NFL? I don't know. It seems like that would be the point he retires. So, one, how many years does Romo have left? And then two, how many years would they have to potentially fill while Nantz rides off into the sunsets? Because he goes when he says he goes.
Yeah, it'll be year 100 in 2035. I guess 101. It started in 1934, but they probably took off a year for COVID because they had to reschedule.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Second World War.
Or that.
Could be.
They could have played the Masters during World War II.
Not a lot of Army golfers.
Didn't they not play the World Series the year of the Nam? Like one of the years during Nam?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
but
got any other games we got to cover?
I think it's just tonight's game. Giants Patriots.
Well, we don't go into it, but the Vikings are dead for anybody wondering. Number two, the Giants, might score 30 points, but they're going to most likely lose.
I'd love to see the Giants win tonight.
Yeah, create chaos.
Yeah, I guess you're a Giants fan tonight, Jack.
I am a Giants fan tonight. Yeah, are they in line for the number one pick, or is that the Titans?
No, the Giants aren't that bad.
They're only have 2 wins.
Titans have 1.
But,
I tried to make it sound better than it was. All right.
No, and it is, I guess, better than it is. But you say Giants aren't that bad, like dresses it up that they have 4 or 5 wins.
Well, on the surface, I was correct. But when you dive into it just a little bit,
it's a lot closer than they aren't that bad.
Yeah, I think they'll pick up 1 more win at least. So the Giants are in line for the 2 pick right now.
Yeah, either them or the Raiders, who also only have 2 wins.
Giants win tonight. Just do a classic bottle job of whatever draft pick they were shooting for next year. Hell, win 2 games and go from having the 2nd pick to like the 8th pick.
They're going to win 2 more. They'll beat the Commanders at home, and they could win 3 more, actually. Oh, God.
I don't know, man. I saw a lot of fight out of that Commanders team. I bet they come back and have a good finish to their season.
Okay, well, even if they lose to the Commanders, they get the Vikings at home, and they go to Vegas.
Ooh.
It's a lot of winnable games there.
There's a lot of winnable games.
Well, that Vegas game is probably going to determine who gets the 2 pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could totally see the Giants winning that game.
It's not like there's a clear-cut number 2 pick right now.
No, but I mean, if you're having a bad season, you might as well capitalize on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it sounds like there's a lot of games there where the Giants.
I'm gonna go to a quick mock draft and see who I would be okay with in the top 5.
I mean, that's the difference between like picking in the top 2 or maybe even 3 to potentially dropping down to like number 8. And it's not. I don't think it's a great draft.
So I guess the best non-quarterback is this tackle from Miami. But the Giants are probably going to go with Jordan Tyson, wide receiver from Arizona State. I would like Caleb Downs, but he's probably not going to go that high. But either way, like the Giants finishing top 5, you're going to get the Jets probably trade up for a quarterback or take a quarterback. You'll get the Raiders. Well, maybe taking quarterback. I don't know. The Giants will have a good.
The Raiders need to draft a quarterback. Yes.
The Giants will have a good selection of prospects up there because the quarterback is set.
Joe Schmo.
Right. Joe Schmo still has a job. Probably going to hire Matt Nagy. That's a problem for another day. Jack, how is the playoff picture looking in our fantasy football league?
Oh, drum roll, please. The views from Section 400 Fantasy Football League. We've got a couple of fun updates for you.
You want a drum roll or do you not want a drum roll?
No, I don't want a drum roll. Both 10-2 teams. I'll take it. Both 10-2 teams, they lost this week. And they're going to need to win this final regular season week in order to clinch first-round buys because they have the one and only Jackson Byron hot on their tails. He's looking for one, ripping darts. And he's also on a 9-game win streak. So, again, shout out Jackson Byron.
I wish his football team was better at actual football, too.
Is he a Giants fan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. Another fun one. Matt and I are going to duke it out this final week for the final playoff spot.
Oh, boy.
An absolute free fall. I think it was 6-1, and now I'm 7-5. So that sums up everything you need to know there. Amon-Ra didn't help anybody this week. What other does that? Sam Laporta, Joe Mixon. We don't need to go over that mess again. Chuba Hubbard losing his job, who had 20 points this past week. Chris Godwin just been a mess all year. It's a mess. It's a total mess.
Yeah, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be livid if I don't make the playoffs.
Do we play each other?
We do not play each other.
Oh, I was gonna say I'll actually fucking dice up a lineup for that.
We don't play each other, but obviously I'll need
still
to win.
Dice one up. Yeah, I mean it's win or go home.
Exactly. Only one of us is getting that spot. It's between the two of us.
I think you control the destiny more though, because my points for have been just pitiful.
Oh yeah, no, I have the most points in the league, and I'm 66.
So yeah, but are you going to win this week or no?
I'm winning this week.
Yeah, so I'll be 7-6. You'll be 7-6. I'll need to win, and you'll need to lose for me to get in.
Correct.
If we both lose, you get in on points. If we both win, you'll still get in on points.
Correct.
So you have a lot more favorable. But Let's see who Mr. Jack plays next week.
I don't know who I play next week.
Yeah.
Also, much less actual league relevance here, but me and Will have the same record fighting against each other next week to try to get third place among Section 400 staff and a better finish in the league. So a little bit of a decent matchup there.
I think you're discounting our writer Nick Stewart here, who's got a 10-2 record. So I think you guys are fighting for fourth place.
So not last place. Sorry, Nick.
Yeah, Nick's having a good season. I will say, man, I'm gonna be upset. I play Team Bussy Liquor next week. I'm gonna be upset if I can't beat the Bussy Liquor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't be surprised if Bussy Liquor has a full lineup this week.
Is that one of your boys?
For the first time. We'll see.
Great.
We'll see if he pays attention this week or not.
Great, Matt. Thank you.
You brought it to my attention.
Oh, great.
You brought the Views League to my attention. Although I think you're
That's
still
my
fine.
job.
I think you're still fine because I play the Rippin' Darts guy who's 8-4.
He's fighting for that one seed.
I was going to say,
fighting for the one seed.
Maybe he starts a couple backups because he's already well into the playoffs.
He wants to buy though. He's going to want that first round buy.
Yeah, I think you're fine.
Yeah, Jackson, do me a favor. You've been a thorn in my side ever since I've met you. Respectfully, please beat Matt. Thank you.
I've seen crazier.
It's going to be a fun postseason. I'm excited. Hopefully we can actually keep it in the staff this year and get a win from a Views contributor.
Dude, I had a great team last year, and I think I lost when Myers was in the league. I lost by a point, and it was disastrous. Both years we've had this. I've had great starts and just free fall endings. This year worse than last.
So you're the Philadelphia Phillies of the Views.
Yeah, I thought I was going to coast into the playoffs, and now I'm probably not even going to make it. And it's looking,
that scheduled loss, dude.
It's looking
it's
looking scary across multiple leagues, which needs to be addressed immediately.
Yeah, if you don't make it in the New Hope League, things aren't going to be happy in your life for a little bit.
Oh my dude, well, yeah. It's really, really bad loss this week. Really bad.
Yeah, shout out Nate. I know he watches, so shout out Nate for beating Matt in fantasy. His second win of the season.
Nice.
His second win of the season?
His team's really bad.
Oh, Matty.
Matt got Jacoby Myers.
I don't know what more I can do.
All right.
Lamar Jackson doesn't know how to play football anymore. It's as simple as that. What more can I do? What more can I do? Not start him? Who would you have started? What would you have done differently, Brian?
Tyrod Taylor.
Not try to screw me out of a win and just kept Sam Darnold on your team.
Sam Darnold, it helped my team. It made my team better.
Did it? Has Genty been better than Montgomery?
Yes. Not by much, but he has been better. It hasn't been by much, though. Bro, Montgomery was having 1 point weeks.
That's what he does. He either has 1 or 15.
It's Lamar Jackson forgetting how to play football. He threw for 250 yards. He has 2 touchdowns. We're not having this conversation.
Yep. Thank you for picking him. I would have taken him instead. I took James Cook because you took Lamar right in front of me.
That has definitely worked out for you.
We got a long way to go here. So
long way to go.
Everybody have their fun, but it's not over.
Speaking of, not as much of a long way to go. We will see you guys on Thursday, but keep an eye out. We have Ole Miss coming up. If you've been around, we've had 2 years of Ole Miss. This will be year 3. 12 episodes, 12 days, college football previews, NFL previews, 12 secret guests, special guests, maybe some recurring guests, maybe some new ones. That'll be coming up at the end of December. So keep an eye out, and we will see you guys on Thursday.